10 years later. Well, you might as well get it now. And that's the way the market's, starting to run. People are starting to see it as, what's the point of paying, 10% or 7% for the next 10 years? When the watch finally comes, I might as well, pay premium right now. Just take it. You with me? So you see, watches like Jacob and Company, and Co. And there's a lot of watches out there that don't hold value. You understand? There's a lot of watches out there that don't hold value, such as there's just watches like a radio or Rado or sorry, not radio, Rado or whatever, timepieces come out. Certain timepieces from Rolex don't even hold value. Reason for that is because there's such a demand on that timepiece. But you see, when a timepiece is discontinued, that's when the big bucks start rolling in, because now you can't get that watch anywhere. So the minute I call a certain price, it's either my way or the highway, because you can't get that watch. I'm willing to sell it off, but at my price. Because no matter how, much money you have, you can't go to Rolex and say, listen, I want this or I want that. You understand? So most people invest their money in Rolexes. And the reason for that is because it continues to hold value. You will, if you buy a Rolex today, right? I promise you 5 years later, right? That watch will have so much value if you try to flip it for whatever it is that you want for it. So you must look at a demand, right? A market's demand. So at the end of the day, if a lot of watches are being made, then there's really no demand there. But the less watches being made for a certain watch collection, the more money you're going to make. Is this making sense to you? So let's take, for instance, this candle, right? Let's take, for instance, this candle. Let's say only one of these candles are made every 6 months, and everybody wants this candle. How high would the demand be on this candle in the next 5 years? You get me? So if a certain timepiece is only made after every 6 months, one piece is made every 6 months because it takes 6 months for Rolex to make this watch, how high would the demand be on this watch? How many people would be willing to take this watch off your hands at any given price? Am I making sense? So that's what you want to invest your money in. You want to invest your money in a product that is going to hold value. Because if many pieces are being distributed, then there won't be a very high demand on that. But the minute a piece is discontinued, or the minute something is no longer being put out there as in a high demand, you're going to make your money on that. And that's why, you see, that's why Patek doesn't do better than Rolex. And we can prove that. As much as Patek is a more expensive watch, it doesn't do better than Rolex in liquid. Because Rolex has made such a good name for themselves, right? It will take a lot longer to sell a Patek than a Rolex, if this makes sense. You understand? So you want to invest your money in a timepiece that is going to fly. Something that, you're going to say, listen, I want 4 million. Oh, 4 million, I'm willing to give it to you. There's watch collectors out there, right? at auctions that are willing to pay anything for any piece, as long as it's a piece that is at a very low demand. Now, if we look at the Rolex I got for $1 million, the reason I had to pay so much in premium in regards to price is because you won't get that watch again. Now, when I say you won't get that watch again, right, we're looking at almost, if I'm not mistaken, 30 to 35 pieces of the Rolex collection to soon be discontinued. This being one of those pieces, as well as the blue oyster being another piece. So there's so many pieces out there that people aren't willing to let go of yet, because they know that there's going to be a discontinuing of these pieces. I have one of them. Many other people have many others. So they will only let go when it's time to let go. And that's how the investment starts to, happen and starts to increase in volatility in regards to, how much money you could probably get for a certain watch. As much as, you bought, let's say you bought a Rolex at 250,000 5 years ago, and this year you still have that watch, but this year they discontinue that watch. How big of a demand will that watch be in? You understand? How big of a demand will your Rolex be in? Even if it's something as simple as a normal Rolex with a normal dial, whatever the case is, nothing fancy, no gold, no white gold, no diamond dial, no. Just a normal Rolex, but because it has been discontinued, the demand for that piece would be so high because you can't get it anymore. So whoever has it is going to make money because whoever has it is going to sell it to a person who wants it. The reason they want it is because it's a discontinued piece, a piece you will never get again. So you bought it for 250,000, but you can sell it off for 2 million. A watch collector is willing to pay you 2 million, even though he knows you're ripping him off. But it's either, well, you pay me what I want, or you'll never have this watch again. Rolex will never make another one. You understand? Now, obviously, they do their homework and they go check. But how many people are not willing to sell off pieces, especially if they've been discontinued? And the reason for that, right, is because of the huge demand. The massive demand there will be on that timepiece. So what you want to try to do is go in and look at, do your research and go to the Rolex website and look at what watches or how many watches are going to be discontinued. And if your Rolex could perhaps fall within that category. And if it does, look for that watch and get it now, because a year, 2, 3 years from now, it's going to be discontinued. And if you have that watch in your possession, you're going to make a lot of money. You understand? So as much, that's why the Rolex I bought was so much. Because the waiting list for that watch is extremely long. I think it's close to 8 years now, 6 to 8 years. That's the waiting list on that watch. Rolex does not have that watch available for you. Either someone's going to sell it to you as a used item, because you are not going to get it from Rolex. You understand? The white gold bezel presidential diamond dial, which I have. You're not going to get it. Nobody has it. So it's either you pay my price or hit the highway. You understand? So exactly that. The lower the supply, the higher the demand. And if there's no supply, well, then the demand is going to be extremely high. And that's what you want to invest your money in. You want to invest your money in things that you can flip at any given time. Crypto. Unfortunately, crypto goes up and down, up and down. Is it a good investment? Well, depending on which crypto. You understand? obviously, being in the trading industry, we understand that a certain crypto will always rise in price. Certain ones will decrease in price. And that's why, gold is a heaven. Gold is heaven. It will always increase, always. If you look now at what an ounce of gold is compared to what an ounce was a year ago, you'll see how much the increase has become, right? Because the demand is so high, but the supply is so low. You with me? Am I making sense, guys? I'll have to go get the watch. Okay, I'll show it to you. Let me quickly go get it, and I'll be back. Should I take the phone with me? Should I not? I'm thinking, okay, let me just leave it here. Right, I will go and get that Rolex switch. It's in the safe. Just give me a second. Okay. Got it. So obviously here's the Rolex. So here it is here. Right. Now, if we look at the date of the watch, it is a 2014. Obviously, you can't see it now, but it's a 2014 release, which means that it shows you how often they make this watch or how often they become available. So this is a 2014 piece, right? So it was obviously manufactured in 2014. So also remember that if I've got a watch from 2022, it shows you that the supply on that watch is still rather high, right? It shows you that the supply on this watch is still rather high. But when you've got a piece from 2014 and you realize that the last piece that was actually manufactured was actually in 2016, right? Was actually in 2016, then you realize that, the supply on this watch is crazy, right? They're no longer supplying it. They're going to soon discontinue this watch. You understand? So let me just put this back in here. Just put this here. So I'll show you guys the watch now. So obviously, this is the watch. But now, if you look at the hefty price, especially when you're paying premium now, you'll see what I'm talking about. So if we look at the price that was here, where is it? Here it is here. Right. So obviously, there it is, 997,000. And it's a 2014 model. But at the end of the day, the reason that the price is so high is because you're probably never going to get another one again. You understand? R1,000,000 for a watch that probably costs 400,000, maybe 500,000 in 2014. You understand? So the watch cost, in 2014, probably 400,000, somewhere there, 500,000. They've now sold it to me for $1,000,000. Why did I buy it? Because the supply versus the demand allows me to see this as a huge investment. You understand? It helps me see this as a huge investment. Let's just move it. So, I don't know how this one. So, at the end of the day, you understand, it helps me see this as a huge investment. As much as we're going, oh my gosh, R1,000,000 for a watch, you're not seeing the bigger picture. I invested my money here, right? Right? I invested my money here in my pocket. That says, anytime I can literally go and say, listen, I paid R1,000,000 for this watch, I'm willing to let it go for 2,000,000. The person who bought it probably bought it for 400,000. Well, obviously I'm going to sell it in the future. It's just a matter of getting my price. So once I get my price, I'm going to let it go. It's just a matter of getting my price. You understand? Because the difference is that, yes, I've got this watch. Have I insured the watch? You can't leave Rolex, or rather you can't leave the vault. I bought it at the vault, as you all saw. I can't leave the vault without it being insured. They won't let you leave it without being insured. The time is wrong because it's not moving. It needs to move. So obviously it only holds time for, I think, 70 hours. So now obviously we can see it moving, but it only holds time and date for 70 hours when it's on your wrist. So yeah, it needs to be shaken a bit. It needs to be on your wrist. So yes, the time is wrong because obviously but anyway, yes, so once it's set and wind up and everything, it holds time for up to 70 hours. But at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. It's an investment. At any given time, I've got about 2 million here. It cost me $1,000,000, but I've got 2 million sitting here. I could go. You see, I believe that if I really looked around, I could probably sell this watch tomorrow for $1.50. You understand? I could easily sell this watch for $1.50. If I really looked around for a watch collector and said, listen, I've got one of these available. You understand? I've got one of these available. I'm willing to let it go at $1.50. I could probably get $1.50. And a week ago or a few days ago, I bought it for $1. That's what I'm saying. It's liquid. This is a new currency that has, taken charge of the world. timepieces, especially Rolex. Rolex holds the highest in value because there's such a demand on it. And that's why there's a Rolex gang out there. People steal Rolexes. People hardly steal Pateks. People don't steal Cartiers. You can wear those timepieces out there. Try wearing a Rolex out there. This Rolex will probably leave your wrist so fast you won't know what to do with it unless you've got bodyguards. But that's how high the demand is, and they know it. The criminals know that, listen, here's money. Here's money in my hands, in my pockets at any given time. And that's why the theft on Rolex is so high. There's literally a Rolex gang out there that literally spots you, gets you, and the reason for this is because it's just, the volume is just crazy. And they know this. So, yeah. Are we on the same page? So everybody's like, oh my God, Marco, you spent $1 million on a Rolex, not knowing that I could probably get $1.5 bar tomorrow if I really looked around. Now, obviously, you don't take it. You get a watch collector, someone who invests in watches. And when you get a watch investor, you then realize that this Rolex here, is money. Money to anyone who has it in their possession. No, it's going to stay in a vault, obviously. I can't wear a piece like this. It will get stolen immediately. You must remember that these guys you can see a real Rolex. These guys know what to look for. These guys, know very high copies, and they're very smart. So the minute you rock something like this, you must remember that the white gold bezel automatically in daylight, the diamonds, in a mall, you could probably get away with it. But the minute you're hitting daylight, the sun, the reflection of this will automatically show them that is a genuine Rolex. And boom, it's gone. You understand? So basically, I just wanted to come out and say, like, listen, if you're going to invest in anything, invest in a Rolex, yo. You won't go wrong. That I can promise you. Ugh. Got flu. Jeez, man. So, yeah. Sorry, just give me a second. It's hot here. What other investments would I opt for? It would all depend on. There's some really good bank investments, some Sanlam investments, but for me personally, my new investment is definitely going to be timepieces, especially Rolexes. I'm going to buy a lot of them. And the reason for that is because they're always going to increase in price. And obviously gold. It's always going to increase in price. So, I'm definitely going to go with timepieces as my personal favorite investment by far. It's going to be definitely timepieces because there's, like I said, there's money in your hands. You understand? There's money in your hands. So, simple as that. If there's money in your hands, you understand? Because I mean, if I rock, I mean, it looks good, 100%. I could probably rock this, but maybe with a long sleeve or something, you understand? But I could rock it. It's my size. It's all been done for me, you know. Could definitely rock it. You understand? Could rock it. It looks great. Could rock it to a nice meeting where I'm safe. But I can't rock it to anywhere because they're probably the most wanted watches out there because they hold so much value. So that's why most people just take watches like this and put it in a vault and look at it again in 10 years' time. Exactly. They literally tell you the only place you can actually wear a watch with a freedom of mind is in Dubai. It's the only place. Dubai and Saudi. It's the only place. They also say you know, funny enough, they actually say you could probably wear your pieces around Cape Town depending on the location, but I wouldn't. But they say peace of mind, Dubai, Saudi, you can wear them freely. Nobody's going to do anything to you. You understand? So, I must add coach. It's Coach Chang. Let me see. Oh, there he is. Because you see, what I thought was most people would probably think the watch was fake. But these criminals have got so much insight on, you know, how to spot a real versus a fake that nowadays you can't even pull that off. You think that, okay, these guys think it's a fake, but they know that it's real. If you want to get added, you need to request. But that's what I'm saying, you know, you're paying R1 million for a watch, but you don't see the investment. So yes, you understand. You see, timepieces such as this. Let me just go and get something really clean. So you see, a timepiece like this Cartier here, you understand? A timepiece like this, right? As it doesn't really increase in value, but you could probably break even on a watch like this, but this wouldn't be an investment. You see, this is something I'm going to wear. This is for me to wear. Hence, I got one that was silver, and I obviously got one that was gold. So obviously the gold will go with my gold here, my gold here, so here, you know, my gold bracelets, you know. So this goes with an outfit. This is something I could wear, and this is something I could wear with a peace of mind. This is something that they're not going to really try to take from me because there's not really much of a demand here. Why? Because Cartier makes these type of watches all the time. You understand? Cartier makes these type of watches all the time. As much as they're really expensive, right? They make them all the time. There's such a huge supply on these. So it's not really a massive investment. And they know that, you know, when they go and try to sell this to whoever they're trying to sell it to, it's very hard to sell a Cartier. They, most of the time, though, they automatically, you see, they don't give you like like a booklet and all of this and your card and all of that Rolex does. You understand? They don't give you all of this. What they do is they just basically invoice you through an email. So automatically they'll flag. Automatically what you do is when a watch is stolen, they know that you're going to flag it. And the minute this watch needs to go in for a service, they're going to basically just keep the watch and say, listen, we're going to call the owner. This has been flagged as stolen. You understand? And in most cases, you'll find out that it's only Cartier that can actually service a watch like this. They've made it that difficult to service a watch. And that's why people love the brand. You understand? Not that it's an investment to say, but the fact that they know that the security on this is really good, because only Cartiers are serviced through Cartier. You understand? Most people, you know, these watch guys who believe that they can service this, open it up and they just fuck it up. And I feel like the criminals know that, you know, they get a watch like this, you know, and it's going to have to be serviced every 2 years, and they're probably going to get caught, or the owner's going to get caught, who, you know, sooner or later you'll get your watch back. It's just a matter of time. You understand? Whereas with a Rolex, it's a whole different situation. It's a whole different ball game. This is money. It's going to increase because the demand is so high, but the supply is so low. So, you see, a piece like this, I bought so I can actually wear. This I bought so I can sell off all in good time. This here, this Cartier here, I bought so I could wear. You understand? And if we're looking at price difference, so now, if you're looking at, so the white one was $329, and if you're looking at this one, we're looking at $490. The reason it's 490,000, half a mil, is because obviously it has the rose gold, 18 carats, solid gold, back and front and bezel and whatever not. But at the end of the day, this is a watch to wear, right? Ugh. This is a watch to wear, whereas the Rolex is not a watch to wear. The Rolex is an investment. This is a watch to wear. You understand? So I bought this to wear in public, to wear out there, to look good in. But I bought this, and I will buy more of these for the investment. For the fact that I know in a few years I'm going to make a good amount of returns on a piece like this. So that's basically it. Yeah. So yeah. So obviously most people wear their Cartiers, but not many people wear their Rolexes unless it's a fake. If it's a fake, and if you realize, you see, most people who actually have the real one actually get a super copy that they wear then in public and to meetings and whatever not, and keep the real one in a safe as an investment. A lot of people do that. A lot of watch investors and collectors do that. So yeah, obviously you know that I have a timepiece that is silver, exactly like this, but obviously silver. And then I've got the gold one. So the gold one obviously goes with my gold jewelry, and the silver obviously goes with my silver jewelry. And that is obviously two-way out there. Whereas the Rolex is strictly investment, for investment purposes. So yeah. So yeah, did we all learn something? No? Yes, perhaps, maybe. In fact, the other watch is right here that it's leaning on. So let's take this and just show you what I'm talking about. So obviously, this is the one that I'm wearing now. Oh, there it is. And then this one here, this is the white one. See, so this will then be for my, and obviously I've got Santos in the safe, which is also silver, blue face, which obviously I then wear. But again, this is a dress watch. So I've got a gold and a silver, depending on what I'm wearing. So if I'm wearing gold, I've got a gold wristwatch. Beautiful, nice timepiece. If I'm wearing silver, I've got a nice silver timepiece to wear with my silver jewelry. Gold jewelry, silver jewelry, basically. And that's basically how it works. So, yeah. Yeah. So obviously you can see that that one hasn't been worn and haven't really taken the strap off. There we go. So this one is obviously silver. And so the silver timepiece, but you see, this is not something to sell off. No. This is not an investment. Well, it's an investment because it's obviously a timepiece, but it's not a Rolex investment. You understand? It's not a Rolex investment. This is something that I'm going to wear, and this is something that's going to, help me, look good in whatever I'm wearing. And I will wear my silver jewelry with a silver timepiece, and obviously with the gold, I will wear this obviously with my gold. So that goes with the gold that I'm wearing. And I would then rock this with such jewelry. And this is more, like I said, dress up watch, whereas the Rolex is a total investment. And that's that. Simple as that. Here, I would never spend, I might, but I wouldn't really spend $1 million on a dress-up watch. So this would stay in a vault and wait for the right day to sell it off and make some good returns. And this is obviously something you'll probably see me in. If you meet me one day, I'm probably rocking up my Cartier or my other Cartier, and whatever other timepieces I might rock. See, I could rock a Patek, and it could be a timepiece that I could use as a dress-up watch. But because Rolex has such a high demand on it, I can't rock a Rolex because it will probably get stolen. That's why most people just stick it in a vault and forget about it for the next 10 years and just come back to it and be like, oh, okay, cool. I've still got this. Let me, I need to buy a house, or I want to buy this, or I want to buy that. You see, brands like Richard Mille, these criminals don't know it. Criminals know Rolex. I don't know if that makes sense. The criminals know Rolex. That's what they know. And I was actually speaking to one of the guys at Patek, and he's like, criminals don't know Patek. Criminals don't know Mille. Criminals don't don't know AP. Criminals only know Rolex. That's what they know. He was like, you can get away with a Patek, wearing a Patek. They probably won't even know what the fuck you're wearing. But they know Rolex. It's the same as criminals know Gucci. Criminals know Louis Vuitton. Go tell criminals about billionaire, they won't know what the fuck you're talking about. Go tell criminals about something like maybe Christian Louis Vuittons, and they'll be like, what is that? But go tell criminals, hey, Gucci. Hey, criminals, hey, Louis Vuitton. They'll know it. It's a common thing to them. Rolex is a common watch to criminals. That's why there's literally a Rolex gang. Gangs who literally go after people with Rolexes. AP, though, you see AP, someone's even not saying, what's an AP? Nobody knows what we're talking about. Cartier, yes, they know the brand, but they also know how good the security is. And again, to sell the watch, it's going to, you probably take a long time to sell the Cartier watch. Because if you try to go somewhere, automatically you need paperwork and this. And nobody's just going to take a Cartier watch from you and be like, oh, here's a Cartier watch. Oh, yeah, I'm selling this Cartier watch. You know, nobody's going to go through all the hassle to sell Cartier watch for 5,000 Rand or 10,000 Rand. They don't know. You understand? They don't know. But with Rolex, they know the money. They know the worth of a Rolex. They know with Rolex, we bagged. You understand? We'll rather take your Rolex than your car, because we'll sell your Rolex for a lot more than we'll sell your car. You understand? You understand? I would rather, if I take a stolen BMW, what am I going to get for it? 20,000 Rand. But if I take a stolen Rolex to a watch collector and he doesn't give a damn about paperwork and whatever not, I'm going to make more money on this Rolex watch than I'm going to make on your car. And that's why they would literally take FX Goat, still rock their Richard Mille and AP. Exactly, nobody knows it. I got an AP, and it's obviously now coming back. I should actually pick it up on Monday. But I got an AP, and it's two-way. It's not an investment. You understand? It's not an investment. You understand? People can actually pull their Cartiers, APs, Milles off with no problem. But try to do that with a Rolex. The minute you mention Rolex, everybody knows it. Everybody knows what a Rolex is. Everybody. You can't go to someone and say, do you not know what a Rolex is? But I can go and say, listen, do you guys know Cartier? They'll be like, huh? You know, some people probably be like, huh? What is that? Or, yeah, or they need 100%. All they need to know is you to steal from you. Yeah, but they also want to get something that's valuable. To them, a Cartier is like, okay, cool. You know, if you have to go ask certain people in the township what's a Cartier, they won't know. You can go ask a street sweeper if you know what a Rolex is, and he'll know exactly what a Rolex is. You understand? It's the same as a G-Shock. If I had to go and ask people, hey guys, listen, do you know what a G-Shock is? They'll be like, I'm a man, what? What is that, a shoe? Is that maybe a Nike? You understand? Is it a Shock? Nike Shock maybe? No. They won't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's the same as a clothing brand. If I had to go and say, listen guys, do you know what Kenzo is? Huh? What's Kenzo? We don't know what it is. Or, hey guys, listen, do you guys know what Amiri is? What's that? We've never heard of it. But guys, you know what Gucci is? We know Gucci. We know Gucci. You know what Louis Vuitton? We know Louis Vuitton. We know it. Same thing as the Rolex. If I go to the township and say, guys, listen, here is a Cartier. I want 100,000 for it. They'll probably be like, this man is mad. This man is mad. not knowing that this watch is R500,000 worth. But if I went to the township and said, my man, got a Cartier here, I want 100,000. They'd probably look at me like I'm a mad person. But if I went there with a Rolex in a box, they'd probably steal it from me. They'd probably take it from me. I wouldn't even get to sell it. But if I went with this, they wouldn't know what the fuck I'm probably talking about. If I went with an AP, they'd be even more lost. If I went with a Patek, probably even more lost. Or just about as lost. You understand? So with a Rolex, they know the value of it. They know what a Rolex is. It's just a brand that's put such a huge mark out there in the industry, and that's why it holds the most value. If you go Google watches that hold the most value, Rolex will come up as number 1. Frank Miller comes up as number, I think I checked last time, Frank Miller comes up as number 3 or 4 as a known watch to a watch collector. Not even to the township, but to a watch collector. Hence, I can get away with this, wearing this safely. I'm good. You understand? I'm good. I can wear it. If you look at someone like Faith Nketsi, she only wears Cartier, and she gets away with it. She can wear it. She's fine. But tell them to go ask AKA to go rock his Rolex in the township. He probably can't. You understand? Even if you look at someone like Casper Nyovest, he even said he will never rock. He said it in an interview. He can never rock what he was wearing, right? When he went to what was it? I think it was Mabhida Stadium. He said he couldn't rock what he wanted to rock. He had to rock something totally different because of the fact that he could obviously be spotted and they could probably steal his piece or whatever the case is. And most of these guys aren't even wearing the real thing, guys. You must understand that, you see, with this, there's no waiting list. If Cartier has it, they have it. With a Rolex, if you go to the vault, they have nothing there. Nothing. So if they have nothing, where are all these people getting their Rolexes from? You understand? Where's everybody getting their Rolexes from if there are no Rolexes available? There's a waiting list of up to 5 years. Where's everybody getting them from? They're copies. They're not real fucking Rolexes. You understand? And then you get a Rolex that's got all bling all over it, and it's, you know, being done up, and it's a personalized Rolex. Guys, you know how much those cost? Do you understand? Do you know how much those cost? Do you know what diamonds cost? This Rolex has almost close to a carat of diamonds. That's why the Rolex is so expensive. It's because it's the obviously the white gold bezel, but not only that, it's got diamonds, and these are raw carated diamonds straight from Rolex. They do it themselves. You understand? So at the end of the day, where did I get mine from? I got it straight from Cartier. I don't play games. Straight from Cartier. Here's the back. Straight from Cartier. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I can freely rock this. I won't have an issue. They won't even know what the fuck I'm wearing. But let me rock a Rolex. And the minute they know that it's a Rolex, whether you know, I feel like whether it's a high copy or not, they'll know the difference. They so clued up. They won't just come to you knowing you have a fake Rolex. They wouldn't waste their time like that. They know what's genuine and they know what's not genuine. Marco, you posting that you want to make right with Those who paid for your services but never delivered. How did I not deliver? Because I said hit me up. Now, remember that I have a screenshot of 57 students. So if my mentorship already has 57 students or over 57 students, it means that I've taken more than I should have. It means that all